Good day to everyone out there. Welcome to another episode of Throwing It Back with Sean Farrell. God is great all the time. All the time, God is great. And let's get right into it. So I was watching a documentary on Hakeem Olajuwon. And the 86 team that went to the NBA Finals was a little bit different in 1987. Injuries to Ralph Sampson, the suspensions of Lewis Lloyd and Mitchell Wiggins all led to a 42-40 record and the second round playoff exit by the Seattle Supersonics. And that was only the beginning of Hakeem Olajuwon's rough part of the first half of his time in Houston. He and Charlie Thomas did not see eye to eye. So there was some tension going on between him, Olajuwon, and Rockets management. But I remember the narrator saying something. He said Hakeem was left to face a constantly revolving cast of teammates. Okay. And so, I just mentioned that the suspensions and injuries in 86, 87. As a result, the Rockets added 6 new players in 1980 for the 1987 season. Then the 87-88 season, the Rockets added new players, and it started earlier in the year when the Rockets traded Ralph Sampson along with Steve Harris to Golden State for Joe Barry Carroll and Sleepy Floyd. So, Joe Barry Carroll, Sleepy Floyd, Purvis Short, Andre Turner, World Be Free, and Lester Connor. So those were 6 new players on the 87-88 Rockets, okay? The 89 Rockets added 9 new players, okay? 9 new players because Robert Reed was gone. He was in Charlotte. And Jim Peterson and Rodney McCray had been traded to Sacramento, okay? And so as a result, the 88-89 Rockets had 9 new players. Those players were Walter Berry, rookie Derek Chevalius, Mike Woodson, Otis Thorpe, Tony Brown, Frank Johnson, Tim McCormick, Chuck Nevitt, Bernard Thompson. 9 new players, okay? So, for the 89-90 season, they added Anthony Bowie, Adrian Caldwell, John Lucas, who returned to the team, Vernon Maxwell, and Larry Smith. So the 89-90 Rockets had 5 new players. For the 90-91 season, they also added 5 new players. Kenny Smith, David Wood, Dave Jamerson, Matt Bullard, and Kennard Winchester. So, and for 91-92, they added Dan Gottfried, Gerald Henderson, Carl Herrera, Avery Johnson, and John Turner. Okay. So that's what the narrator meant when he said Hakeem was facing a constantly revolving cast of teammates. And it wasn't until 1993 that the core really began to stay together. Because at the 93 season, you had Vernon Maxwell, Otis Thorpe. Of course, you had Olajuwon. You had Kenny Smith. Matt Bullard was still there. Carl Herrera was there. and you still had Sleepy Floyd, who was there for the '93 season. So it was around 1993 where the core of the team really began to stay together, and of course they go on to win 55 games in 1992, 1993. Then they win a championship in 94, 95. Rest is history. So I thought that was pretty interesting that Hakeem faced a revolving cast of teammates. So I just wanted to check the Rockets roster, through those years after the '86 team that went to the finals, and it was only 3 years. Think about it. The '86 team that went to the finals was completely dismantled in 3 years. Now, John Lucas got suspended for drug violations. He returned to the team in 1990. Mitchell Wiggins returned to the team in 1990. Louis Lloyd returned to the team in 1990, but Louis Lloyd didn't see much action during the '89-90 season. So the early '90s Giants, okay. After the New York Giants won their second Super Bowl, after the New York Giants won their second Super Bowl, Bill Parcells retired so late into the off season, shortly before the 1991 season began. And I'm kind of guessing he retired because the quarterback controversy. He didn't want to have to face a quarterback controversy. Hostetler versus Sims. And that job belonged to Ray Handley now. And Ray Handley chose Jeff Hostetler over Phil Sims, but and we see how that went. Anyway, the post-Parcells Giants. The Giants ranked number 1 in defense 1990 under Parcells, okay? But Parcells left them so late until the offseason before the 91 season began. They finished 8-8 in 1991. They never scored more than 24 points a game in 1991. And they went from first in 1990 to 12th in defense in 1991. In 1992, they finished 6-10. And they were 26th in defense in 1992 under Ray Handley. And I remember Lawrence Taylor reading Lawrence Taylor's book. And he said Ray Handley lasted 2 years. And those 2 years must have set the Giants back 100 years. Okay. And there was an incident where Carl Banks, linebacker for the Giants, Carl Banks and Ray Handley didn't get it along. And Carl Banks actually choked Ray Handley. Okay? He choked him. I kid you not. And Lawrence Taylor talks about it in his book. He says Carl Banks came up to Ray Handley and choked him. But nothing happened to Carl Banks. Ray Handley didn't suspend him or anything. So that's how dumpster fire it was. Following the departure of Bill Parcells. As a young Cowboys fan, I absolutely loved it. All right, enough of that though. But Ray Handley was fired after the 1992 season, and they bring in Dan Reeves. Dan Reeves comes in, and the Giants go back to being the Giants. They were first in defense in 1993 again. Finished 11-5. Beat the Vikings in the playoffs. So yeah. But remember what Lawrence Hitler said. Those 2 years must have set the Giants back 100 years. Oh, man. All right. That's it for Throwing It Back with Sean Farrell. Stay tuned because I will be bringing y'all more content. Peace out, y'all.